Hello students, let me start with the second chapter, Two Deer. So, Two Deer written by, you can guess, do you remember? Yes students, correct. Two Deer is written by Leo Tolstoy. Two Deer is deceptively a simple short story and it is a mockery on the legal system. There was so much socio-economic inequalities. As a result, the gap between the haves and have-nots widens. People of Monaco were peaceable. So yeah, let me say, before starting this, let me come with the story. Why there was a gap between the haves and have-nots widens. That's the point here. What is socio-economic inequalities? Being a having an well, it's not having a very good administrative system. What it may leads to the people. So let me come with the introduction. Two dear tells the story of Monaco, a small kingdom in Europe. The author's intention is to parody the efforts of the modern state to violently restrain crime. Monaco had a small population, a small army, and was ruled by a kinglet. The king ruled like any other king with courtiers, ministers, and judges. Since it was a very small kingdom, it had merged financial resources. The people lived peacefully, but somehow a murder was committed. The criminal was tried as per the existing rules of the state and was finally sentenced to death. But there was neither a guillotine machine, nor an executioner or a machine in the state. Therefore, the king and the ministers made sincere attempts to borrow them from their neighbors, that is, the neighbors. First number is that the French government and the king of Italy. Second one, they approached for the king of Italy. Whereas the French government offered to supply a guillotine and an executioner for 16,000 francs. The king of Italy offered to do the same for 12,000 francs. After weighing the pros and cons of incurring such a huge expenditure, the king gave up the idea of getting the criminal executed and changed it to imprisonment for life. So, imprisonment for life. Thus, the criminal was kept in a small prison with a guard to keep watch over him and also fetch his food for 1 year. This cost the king 600 francs. When the king reflected over the cost, it struck him that the cost would become a big burden if the criminal lived another 50 years. Again, the king and his ministers met, discussed the issue, and dismissed the guard, believing that the criminal would run away on his own. But the prisoner did not run away, but collected his food from the palace kitchen himself, locked his prison, and stayed inside. The minister of justice told him clearly that if he ran away, the prince would not mind it. Keep in mind that if he ran away, the prince would not mind it. But the criminal refused to go. Finally, the criminal was offered a small pension and paid one-third of his annuity as advance. He left the prison and immigrated to another country. Thus, there is a streak of humor in the story throughout. So now, let me analyze here. The author's intention is to prod the reader with the following serious questions. So we feel very simple, but as we go on thinking in depth, there are many questions arises for us. So let me talk the first question what it may arise. Why should violence be punished with a violence only? So is it necessary violence should be punished with a violence? The story talks like this. If a criminal has done the violence, he has to be punished with the violence? First question. Second, it arises with a question that what is the purpose of trying the criminal in a court of law and decreeing punishment? So again, why he has to be prisoned? Why he has to be again freed? Again, third question. Why are crimes committed and how can they be prevented? So, again the writer makes the reader to have a question this, why the people should commit murder or crimes anything, and it can't be prevented. So like this we go on think about this short story, we get so many questions. What guarantee is there that the truth is revealed when the criminal is tried in a court of law? And next question, how can miscarriage of justice be prevented? So you need to understand here, again and again they change the punishment here. So don't you feel that it is a miscarriage of justice? Be how we can prevent all these things? So how can the court ensure that the convicted criminal is given punishment commensurate with the crime? So again, see, this is how we can find out the king is not at all in good in his administration. What is the role of the government in ensuring that the family of the criminal is not put to hardship? Hardship means working hard after the execution of the criminal. So many points arises to the king now. How much time should we, a country like Monaco, whose resources are limited, spend on trial and punishment of criminals? So these are the questions. We, after reading the things, we can analyze that why he was given a, even he committed crime also he has given a pension. So why there must be a why we need to allow to have any crimes in the kingdom? All these points you can when we question the things, do you think that our kinglet is really right, what he has done is the right thing? So that's what the analysis is all about. Now again I repeat here. So one thing you need to remember here, Monaco is a very small kingdom, correct, with a small population and a small army, correct, we know all these things. Also its revenue is very small, yet the king managed to rule like any other king, with courtiers, judges and ministers enjoying the luxurious and privileges of a king. The author tells us that the king managed to enjoy his kingship utilizing the additional revenue generated from monopolizing the gambling business, that is roulette. It is highly condemnable that a king should resort to do a dirty business to enjoy royal comforts. One can only say the king is too self-centered. I repeat here, by this short story we can understand the king was a self-centered. He had a nature. So, as regards the murder committed by the criminal, we get to know that the kingdom did not have either a guillotine machine nor or an executioner. So, this is how we can understand being such a king, he is enjoying his luxurious things, but still what are needed for the administrative things he is not at all implemented. So here it is highly condemnable that a king should resort to do a dirty business to enjoy royal comforts. One can only say the king is too self-centered. As regards the murder committed by the criminal, we get to know that the kingdom did not have either a guillotine machine or an executioner. Secondly, the government could not afford to spend even 12,000 francs on borrowing the same from the King of Italy. In such a situation, it is a quite preposterous to put in place a system of inflicting violence to eliminate violence. So this is very tough. So violence should be eliminated by violence only. At least what we understand here, it should be given some excuses. We feel that the king is self-centered here, but in another view, we feel that the violence should not be punished with the violence. We need to give some excuse. And this what Leo Tolstoy believe in is highly, because he highly believes in Christianity. So he says that violence should not be eliminated by violence. One possible alternative punishment would have been sending the criminal into exile. That is what they would have done, but they just went on changing the punishment. So at least in that thing they would have made him into exile. Exile means Gadibaru. Another alternative punishment would have been to condemn such criminals to hard physical labor for life or for a limited period until. So, otherwise they would have been given that's what it means. They would have given a very simple work for him, that he should not commit any crime. To hard physical labor for life or for a limited period until they reform their behavior. So this is what a king should have the character. He gave at the end. You need to understand. We understood that he paid a pension. Instead, he would have made him giving some physical work, and he would have reformed him. Reformed means he would have changed in his behavior. It would be far more practical, economical, and humane to use the state's resource to reduce crimes this way. So these are the things we can analyze after reading the short story. So at the end, this criminal took the pension. He didn't do any work. He just ate, and he kept in the prison only. At the end, he was paid pension. But one point is here again. He went to other frontier, across the frontier. He started a market gardening and now lives comfortably. He always goes to the proper time to draw his pension. Having received it, he goes to the gaming tables, takes 2 or 3 francs, sometimes wins and sometimes loses, and then return home. He lives peaceably and well. This is the point what Kinglet wanted. He didn't want any other crimes to be happen. So instead of giving a pension, he would have appointed him in some other good work, that he would have changed himself. It is a good thing that he did not commit his crime in a country where they do not grudge expense to cut a man's head off or to keep him in prison for life. So like this, we can understand Leo Tolstoy's, because I repeat here, he believes in Christianity. So Christianity says that violence should not be punished with the violence. So as we know that should not be eliminated with the violence. So two deer in another way, it's a very rare, it's very expensive. It's very, our life is of course expensive. On another way we can say that our life is greatly valued. Once the life goes, it won't come back. So maybe our kinglet thought of this, that life is valued lot. So he did not kill him. Instead, he went on changing the punishment. Even he taught to his courtiers, ministers, that what is the right way to take these decisions. So like this, we can understand that Leo Tolstoy tried to bring out that violence should not be eliminated with the violence. It should be excused in some extent. The crimes what will happen should be excused, then it should be given punishment. Here in the short story we understood directly they go on punishing him, changing the punishment. There is no right decision. So one or the other way, it is a mockery. It is a funny, humorous thing that our kinglet also did not take the decision, or didn't want to take the decision, is the funny thing. But he enjoyed his all kingship with as a royal person. So this is how we can understand two deer. So read the text, every line you have to read, students, because 1 mark is very important. So 1 mark can come any corner of the textbook, any corner of the lesson. So please read every line and try to construct yourself 1 mark questions. And these 1 mark questions will help you to summarize the whole lesson. If you have any doubt, please message me, or you can call me and talk to me. Thank you.